I'm itinerant voice actor Carl Bishop for Wise Brother Media. Today I'm talking to 80s film television star Lorenzo Lamas. And we've been competing today over who has the sexier voice, haven't we?
Well, yeah, we need a committee or something, Carl.
I know. It's just the two of us here. We can't.
I mean, it's not fair. Because,
right. It would be one vote
tie.
and one vote, unless I could convince you or you could convince me. But
you got a pretty good voice there, buddy.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, I am a voice actor. I studied singing in school, classically trained singer. I don't do it professionally.
Well, there you go.
But I enjoy doing it.
I think you would win then, hands down. For sure.
I don't know about
that. You
that.
have the credentials.
You're actually doing it on stage, though, right now, in the Fantastics here in New York City. I heard conversation a minute ago about you doing that song that Jerry Orbach made famous when he was in the Fantastics.
Yeah.
Can you do a little?
There are a few iconic songs in this musical that people will remember either from having seen the play, because the play's been running off and on for 40 years. So it's one of the longest-running plays off-Broadway.
Can you sing a snippet from that song? That
Sure. The first song that the character El Gallo, he's actually the narrator first. I play two characters. The character that relates to the other characters is the character of El Gallo, a very worldly kind of a mentor image for these kids that are growing up trying to find love and answers to life.
And it's a Romeo and Juliet redo.
It is. Yeah. It is very, very much so. And the character, the narrator, is the person that I am when I'm addressing the audience, when I'm helping them go through the story. I basically serving up what's happening next.
Right.
And in the opening, just after the overture, the opening, I sit down in front of the audience and I sing a song called "Try to Remember," and it goes like this. Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Try to remember the kind of September when you were a tender and callow fellow.
Wow.
Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow. You know, so
follow, and then the echoes.
Follow.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Very nice. And
Thank you.
And you're doing it at very early in the morning, which I have to. You've warmed up nicely, I have to say, from the first interview to now.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's something, as you know, you have to be careful about. You know?
I know. Yeah, I'm going back to a choir reunion. I sang with the elite choir in college, and we're all getting back together in a couple weeks. And I got the music about I actually printed it out about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is hard. I remember how hard this stuff was. All these different languages, and and we're my God, it's hard music, and so I've been going through it day after day and thinking, geez, I hope I can, do myself proud. And I've been singing every day again, so I realize what you're going through. Although you're on stage in front of thousands of people every day.
Yeah,
so.
but you're absolutely right. When I was asked to come back to New York and do this, it was only about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and I hadn't sung in years.
Yeah.
I mean, years.
Did you go back to with a voice coach real quick?
I didn't. I dug up some old CDs that I had from a coach that I used to work with, and thank God I saved those CDs.
Nice.
It really helped me, because when I started, a month and a half ago, my voice was cracking. I wasn't hitting the tone. It was like, oh shit, am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And your voice is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets, and it's getting there.
Good.
It's getting there.
Good.
I pushed a little bit hard yesterday during rehearsal, so...
Yeah, you just got to take it easy.
Yeah.
Now, you wrote a while back, you wrote a book about, I'm sorry, what was the name of it again? My
Renegade at Heart.
Renegade at Heart, where you talk about the 5 marriages you had. Now, why did you want to talk about that publicly?
Because it had been put out there in the public by the other end, the other side, the other people, the women, and I never addressed it then because I never wanted to continue to have the dialogue in public about what went wrong. They had their side of it, and I never really spoke up for my side. So the book was, in many ways, cathartic for me. It was also a tribute to my father, who I still miss to this day, who passed when I was 24.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
And
My sympathies.
he was and still is a big part of who I am. And I wanted to give him, I wanted to give the audience, the reader, a chance to get to know him a little bit. And in keeping with that, why I may have done the things that I did in life. Because, we are basically people that are formed very early in age. And the things that happen to us when we're kids, it does have an impact.
Yeah, so it was a way to work out the relationship you had with your father in your own mind and talk about it, and therapeutically and cathartically, as you said.
Yeah. So it was something that I didn't do for money. I just did it. I did it for the readers that would be interested, and I did a lot for myself.
Now, you chose to get out of acting. I mean, you made a choice to move on to flying helicopters professionally.
Carl, really. I mean, it's really kind of a combination of me making a choice in order to put food on the table.
I see. So it was out of necessity.
Basically, the industry's choice in not having me work as much as I used to.
Right. So you would have stayed. You would have stayed in it. You wouldn't have thought twice about doing.
I probably would have stayed in it had I gone on to, if I was able to continue to work as much as I had been. Now, everybody's work goes through peaks and valleys. I'm not naive.
Boy, do I know it.
Enough to think that once you're up there and you've got your own show, that's going to continue for the rest of your working career.
Yeah.
I know that's not true, but I became famous in the 90s for a particular kind of acting. I was an action hero in a syndicated television medium. And syndication, like the shows like Baywatch and Renegade and Highlander, Xena, Hercules, all those shows were not network shows. They were shows done for a lower budget that were sold directly to the television stations in the U.S., different times and different stations across the country. So I wasn't on – Renegade was not a CBS show. Renegade was a show produced by Stephen Cannell for Cannell Entertainment that was distributed by Tribune for the first 3 years. And then Stephen sold the show to the USA Cable Network for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. In the process of doing that, I became known as kind of a lower tier, a B actor, if you will, because the casting agents on network television, they're kind of snobby, and if you're not on Law and Order or, any of the top television shows of that era, then you're kind of doing something that's less than what they would think is high enough quality to be asked to be on our show.
That's so weird. It's
there's like a tier, it's like syndication.
Yeah, and they're discriminating against the self-produced material.
Actor for more than a dozen years.
Yeah, what you were doing
and all that.
What you were doing didn't change. It's just their perception of it changed.
Yeah, and then the character that I played on Renegade was bigger than life. He was kind of, like the syndicated characters were bigger than life. Kevin Sorbo has had difficulty. Adrian Paul, the guy that played Highlander, also. Where are these guys? Where are these wonderful actors?
Yeah.
And we're all kind of in this we're sitting on the bench, and I just couldn't sit on the bench any longer. I had children to raise, I had rent to pay, and when I was working regularly, my hobby was aviation. I became a commercial helicopter pilot, and then 5 years ago, when struggling to find a way to put food on the table, I said, I'm going to just go back to school. I became a flight instructor.
That's great.
Started teaching folks how to fly helicopters, and then from that, I was able to, jump into a professional career.
Yeah, but why not like real estate? I mean, like helicopter. That's really risky. I mean, you must have missed the thrill of marrying all the wrong women or something.
Yeah, I really love flying. I mean, it's sort of addicting.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Ask any pilot out there,
Well, and
what they're going to do on a day where it's sunshine. You're going to pick a pumpkin with your son and your wife, or maybe go take a spin around the patch for a couple hours.
You are the renegade in real life now, Lorenzo. You're living that life, man.
I'm conforming. Trust me. To be a professional pilot, you are conforming in every manner. From the disciplined approach to preparing your aircraft for flight to
Right.
making sure that everybody on that aircraft is accounted for in the manifest, and it's just a whole other life.
Well, I like boats myself, and I take folks out in my little small craft every now and then, and I understand what in a very small way what you're going through, because I take it very seriously. I don't drink when I'm out there. If we're sitting for a while and if we're swimming and whatnot, I might have one beer and it lasts for the whole trip that we're out there for 4 hours. And I'm responsible for the safety of all those people that
Absolutely.
I have with me. So,
you have a very professional approach to being a captain.
Yeah, well,
that's what it's all about.
Because it's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing.
You have people's lives in your hands.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Lorenzo, I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much. It's great talking to you, and I have a lot of fun on the show, and then stay safe while you're flying those people when you go back to the gig.
Well, thank you so much. And if anybody wants to come up to New York to see the show, they can just go on to Ticketmaster.com and get tickets. I'll be in the Fantastics through November 13th.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, Carl.
Well, that's it. Another episode of The Itinerant Voice Actor with me, Carl Bishop. Special thanks to Johnny and Robert at Wise Brother Media, celebrity booker Paul Adamo, my partner in crime David Levin at Brainstorm Inc., and the super talented Noel Honig at the Drawing Room NYC, who created the logo for us. More episodes of Itinerant Voice Actor coming soon. Thanks for listening.